Welcome to the Monopoly Control Your Space or Be Dominated podcast. I am your host, Benjamin Ngwani, and author of the book of which this podcast is about. Today, I want to talk about a statement which I think is misleading. So sit tight and get monopolized. You know, I once heard someone say, I am a lover and not a fighter. And everyone nodded as a sign that they're in agreement with this person. And at that point, I realized how a lot of people are lost and confused. Because if you love something, you protect and fight for it. This therefore makes you a fighter by default, if you think about it. Because part of loving something is knowing that there will come a time where you have to fight for it. Whether it is your partner, your job, or a goal that you have set for yourself. Either way, at some point, you will have to fight to keep it if you haven't already fought to attain it, because circumstances change, and when they do, you will be tested as to how much you really want what you claim to love. You see, love is a powerful emotion and not to be used lightly. I know what I love, and I have what I love because I fought to attain what I love. So it's impossible to love something and not be willing to fight for it. You are a warrior and a fighter because you got something to fight for. We risk losing what we love when we don't fight for it. So we are fighters by nature because love lives in our hearts. According to the dictionary, fighting is when you exchange blows, which means that when you fight for something, you have to expect to get hit. Because that's what happens when you fight. Fighting is not one-sided. If you throw in a punch, expect something to be thrown back at you. It doesn't matter if it's physical, mental, or an emotional fight. Whatever you are fighting will fight back, because fighting is a struggle of dominion over another. That's why fear strikes at your heart first, because if your heart succumbs, your mind will follow. In other words, you need to know what you are opposing before you go to war. So study your fears before you choose to face them. Study your anger before you try and control it. Study your goals before you try and pursue them. And study your vision before you are led by it. Because if not, you will struggle more than you should to get what you want. You don't face your fears blindly. Instead, you have to identify where that fear comes from and where it likes to strike. This way, if you know the source, you can uproot it. And if you know where fear likes to strike, then you can protect that area. The same thing can be said about your goals. Just because you know what you want, don't mean it's gonna be easy to get it. Sometimes your circumstances will be against you, and you are going to feel like maybe it's not the right time. But that's warfare, and you have to abandon such thoughts and focus on making things work the way you want them to work. You can write down your goals and have a plan, but that doesn't mean things will go according to plan. In most cases, things never go according to plan. But so what? If you truly want what you want, you'll find a way. If you truly believe that you deserve it, then you will make it work. Because that's all there is to do, and that is to make things work. You see, people who claim to want something when they don't really want it got options. What do I mean by this? Well, they have an option to quit, to give up, and surrender. But when you truly want something, you don't have that option. The only option you have is to make it work. If things get hard in life while you are pursuing a goal and you get tempted to quit, don't entertain that feeling. Because if you quit now, then what was the point of starting? Why did you even bother? Let me tell you something. Everything I set out to do, I do it. I don't have the option of quitting. If I want something, then I am going to get it. It doesn't matter how many times I fail to get it. In the end, I'll have it. You see, when your mind becomes that stubborn about something, Know that you have broken away from being average. And when you are no longer average, a lot of things you desire will become accessible to you, because you are not accustomed to quitting when things get hard and when things become unpredictable. That's why there's a saying, I always get what I want. That saying comes from people who are too stubborn to quit. Someone once said to me, sometimes you got to realize when to quit. And I told them there's nothing to realize if I want something. Because if I quit, then I am admitting to myself that it's okay for me to live without it. But guess what? It's not okay for me to live without it. I mean, how can I live with myself knowing that anything I want is not possible for me? Some of you can live with that, but I cannot. I would rather live with the thought that what I achieved wasn't really what I thought it would be. At least this way, I can focus on other goals. The bottom line is, you don't quit on things you love. Your goals are proof of things you'd love to have. But if that love doesn't run deep enough, then you are not going to put up much of a fight when things get tough. But when you truly want something, it becomes a need, and you will fight for it no matter what. In fact, you will even overcome your own fears for it, because you know you need it. That's why when you love someone, you start to need them. So stop applying the emotion of love only on people, but rather also on your goals and vision. Let your goals be things you'd love to have, and let your vision be where you'd love to be. This way you will push yourself to attain what you want and get yourself where you want to be, because you need it. As you pursue your goals and vision, you will fall in love with the process, because you are going to see yourself getting closer and closer to attaining what you've always wanted. And when that happens, you are going to appreciate it, because you know what it took to attain it. This is how you become a protector. When you have fought for something, it's not easy to let it go. That's love. So let me ask you this. How much do you love your vision? Would you trade your vision for something else? If not, then what are you doing right now to make it a reality? And if yes, then you need to change your vision, because it is going to disappoint you later on ahead. I've met people whom I thought were on the right path until a storm came and took away everything they had, and they gave up. You see, such people never had the right vision in the first place. Because when you have the right vision in your life, even if you lose everything somewhere along in your life, you don't forget who you are, where you are going, and why you were headed there in the first place. A true vision will always keep you on the right path. People will come and go, but you will always be on track. Some people will even try to lead you astray and succeed, but you will always find yourself back on track again. Because some things are bigger than us. I gave up a long time ago to try and understand love, because love does not reason. People can only change you if you don't love who you are. People can only mislead you if you don't love where your life is headed. But if you love who you are, no one can change you. You might adopt some nasty habits during your lowest moments in life, but you will rise back up and fix yourself again when you love yourself. Because you know the kind of person you'd love to be. So it's okay if you get misled sometimes. We all have our weak moments. But I want you to know that those weak moments do not define who you are. Deep down, we all know who we are, and it's time for you to start embracing who you are. This will make it easy for you to find yourself when you lose yourself. Because you are going to lose yourself at some point in your life. Usually we lose ourselves when we lose something we hold dear. When you lose something you love, it leaves a hole inside of us. As a result, we try to fill that hole with anything just to take away the pain. And that's okay. But once you realize what you are doing, correct it. At the end of the day, we are all humans. Every single one of us has done something we aren't proud of. So instead of prosecuting yourself for it, nurture yourself back to what you once were. This is why time starts over and over again. It teaches us to also start over and over again when we lose ourselves. The beauty of it is that you can start over and over again as many times as you want. Just don't give up the fight and never say, I am a lover and not a fighter. If that was your motto, then you need to change it. I am a fighter because I love. If I didn't have any love in me, I wouldn't fight for anything. In fact, I wouldn't even have a problem losing people, money, respect, and so on. But since I have love in my heart, I can't help but fight for things in my life. That's why even when I'm down, I don't look like I'm down. Because my spirit is always up and my faith is always intact. That's what love can do for you. Love is a strong feeling, a constant affection for something and a dedication to another. So what is it you feel strongly about in life? What is it you constantly think about having in your life? And what is it you want to dedicate yourself to? These are the questions you should be asking yourself instead of asking yourself if you are good enough. A lot of people go to their grave still asking the wrong questions. Don't be one of those people. I feel strongly about serving God by sharing my talent with the world. That's why I write books and make podcasts with an intention to inspire and uplift others. And I always constantly think about myself in a better place. That's why I strive to get more out of life. If someone could build a mansion, what is stopping me from building my own mansion? This is a constant affection I have for myself, a better life. And because of it, I will never stop. I'm always going to strive for more. However, I don't want to be alone in this journey. So I have people I dedicate myself and time to. These people are my family, my partner, my kids, and my close friends. And that pretty much sums up what love looks like. So until the next episode, listen to this podcast at least 10 times, let it sink in, take what you need and start applying it. If not now, then when?